Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Mallicoat. I'm an anchor reporter for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guests are part of a new and unique scholarship program at Diablo Valley College, better known as DVC. It's in the East Bay here in Northern California. It helps students who may not have had the best grades or test scores in high school find their true potential. It's called the Diamante Scholars Program, and the founder is a good friend and a fraternity brother of mine at Cal. That's Pete Zaballos. The program coordinator is Ada Ocampo, and one of their scholars is Jorge Salas, who is now at DVC right now. Well, welcome everybody. Good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you, Frank. It's great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Jorge, good to have you as well. Well, Pete, we'll kick it off with you. Wasn't so long ago, well, maybe it was a long time ago, back in the mid 70s, late 70s, you were one of these students kind of trying to find your way. Tell us about your baby and how it all got started.
Well, thanks, Frank. So yeah, I grew up in the Bay Area. I was born in Castro Valley. Spent most of growing up there. We moved into the Rockridge area of Oakland by the time I graduated from high school. And I went to DVC, transferred to Cal, got an engineering computer science degree, and went to work in Silicon Valley. And that was sort of, my career just took off from there. I ended up going to MIT for business school, and have had jobs in various technology companies. I was a venture capitalist for a while as well. And about 4 years ago, the MIT endowment office, MIT is really, really good at developing relationships with their alumni. But someone from the endowment approached me about making a contribution. And super talented, high quality member of the team there got me into a series of conversations that stretched for almost 2 years. And just at the point where I was starting to see the end of my career coming, my wife and I were talking about, well, maybe we should go make a contribution. And I listened to a Malcolm Gladwell podcast, a 2-part series on the state of philanthropy in higher education. And that podcast basically netted out to, if your college has an endowment already, they already have too much money. And if you really want to make an impact on students' lives, go and turn your giving to an organization that doesn't have a big endowment, where you can actually make a contribution that will affect lives for students and not just build a building. So I literally listened to that podcast, got home and called Diablo Valley College. And immediately we had a great conversation going. And along the way, I realized, that the cruel trick of higher education is that once you get out of college, nobody cares where you went to college. They don't care what your classes were. They don't care what your grades were. And your whole career is built on a whole bunch of skills that nobody teaches you in college. Like, can you be a curious learner? Are you good at solving problems? Can you work well in a team? Do you develop good relationships with people? Or can you be trusted? Those are all the things that my career was built on. So in working with the dean, Rosa Armendariz, at DVC, we came up with this idea for a program that, and by the way, as soon as grades were given to me in school, they were bad. So I went through middle school and high school with people telling me repeatedly that you're never going to go to college, and you're not going to go to college because of your grades. I was the only kid in my senior class that didn't go to a 4-year college. The reason I went to DVC was when I graduated from high school, I had a job bagging groceries at Safeway, and I had enough BART fare to get to Pleasant Hill and back every day to go to school. So that was the reason why I called DVC, because I thought, my whole career started there. I went to these other schools, but if I hadn't gone to DVC, I never would have got bitten by the technology bug. So we put together a program that would go after and seek out kids like I was, that had been told, hey, you're not college material, or your grades aren't good enough, but where we know there's real potential. And one of the terms that we used when we were putting the program together is we want to find the overlooked kids. And then let's put them on a path to college and a career, but teach them all those skills that really matter in a career. So help them understand how to apply their curiosity, help them learn how to be good problem solvers, help them learn how to be resilient. We've put together a whole 2-year program to help teach these students the really important things about how to think about a career while they're also getting their education. And Ada is somebody who joined the program about a year ago, and she's really the one that has taken this idea and turned it into real life. And Ada, along with her counterpart, Marina Aravallo, who is on maternity leave and about to have a baby, otherwise she would be on this call too. The two of them have really taken this idea and brought it all to life with all these students.
Well, Ada, let's segue over to you. How is the program flourishing? And when you got wind of it, did you think, oh my gosh, this is fabulous?
Absolutely. The program has gotten off to an amazing start. We were able to reach our capacity at 31 high school students in the spring. And honestly, we thought we were going to only find maybe 20 students. So we're so happy to be able to start strong this year. And it's one of the essential components of the program is our strong partnership with Mount Diablo Unified School District and the amazing enthusiasm and support from our DVC alumni, Peter Zaballos, who's really made it all happen. And so through the partnership with Mount Diablo Unified School District, we were able to provide internships to all of the students, even virtually over the summer, it was pretty awesome. Jorge, which you'll hear from today, interned with Aglantis over the summer. And then we were able to enroll all of the students to DVC and connect them to the learning communities at Diablo Valley College, like Puente, Emoja, or First Year Experience, which all have a successful track record. And through the amazing connections and relationships that Peter has, we've been able to offer some awesome events or programming where we connect students to industry leaders from all the fields. Like this is a time where we know that students are exploring their major and trying to figure it out. And so we want to connect them to those careers. And we had people from venture capitalism, from biotechnology, medicine, video game narrative design, just all across the field to give them students the opportunity to connect to all of this. And so it's been really amazing. I think there's a lot of amazing energy. All of the people that we talk to, they're not just here to speak, to a random cohort. They're really invested in the students and want to create that personal connection, which you really get that feeling from all of the conversations, even though it's virtual, right? Sometimes it's difficult to have that feeling virtually. It feels like you're talking to the internet, but we still feel that connection. And at DVC, Marina's not here, but she's done such an amazing job connecting with all of the students, trying to provide that that personal touch virtually and through one-on-one meetings. So it's been a really awesome first year.
Well, I can imagine if it's working virtually, what it will do when we climb out of this pandemic. Jorge, well, just tell us what it's been like this first year for you, and what's it done for you in terms of self-esteem and what lies ahead for you in the future?
The program has been like super helpful since I joined. At first, I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I had an idea of attending DVC, but I wasn't sure how I would get to actually attending and have that direction of attending DVC, or like what I had to do to even apply to DVC. And Diamante came in one day into my class and said, "Oh, we're looking for students, and these are the things we're going to help you with." And I was like, "Oh, that just seems interesting," and I joined the program. After that, they just guided me all the way to the fall semester, and they haven't stopped helping me. And
I didn't mean to
go ahead.
Do you feel more confident about your future now, just in this short time you've been a part of the program?
Definitely. Like Ada was saying, we were introduced to different types of people and different careers, and that just opened our eyes to what other careers do, and just narrowed it down for me to see if I really want to pursue the career I was thinking of, and it did. It just made me feel more confident going into DVC, knowing that all the help that was there for me was really just making me feel like I had an advantage over other students.
Yeah, and tell our viewers what you want to be.
I want to be an electrical engineer.
Your future's bright because that's a great way to go. Congratulations on that. Pete, tell us, we got a little inkling of how students get involved, but do you actually go out to some of the high schools and speak, or how do they find out about the program?
Well, we've done this once. We did it last year, and Ada and Marina were the ones that were doing all of the out in the high school presentations and screenings. There's an application, and my wife and I did host a welcome reception for all the students and their families and all the educators and administrators at Mount Diablo Unified School District and at Diablo Valley College in February, once the class was established. But Ada, why don't you talk a little bit about how the recruitment process works?
Absolutely. So we are targeting Mount Diablo Unified School District, and specifically there's 4 schools that we're outreaching to. That's Olympic High School, Mount Diablo High School, Ignacio Valley High School, and Concord High School. So right now we're just starting the recruitment. We're going to be going into the virtual classrooms to speak to the students, but the best way to find out more about the program is by searching on the DVC website for the Diamante Scholars, and you'll find our link to our application there and more information, as well as my contact information. Yeah, so that would be the best way to find more.
And Jorge, were your grades just okay at Mount Diablo High School? Were you one of those students that were just getting by? And when you heard about this, it kind of flipped a switch?
Yeah, definitely. I graduated with a 2.83 GPA, and I wasn't happy about it because I have super high expectations for myself. But I was just more of a go with the flow kind of guy throughout high school, and just if it was too late, I wouldn't do the homework and stuff like that.
Right. And Pete, I've known you for 40 years.
Yeah.
Hard to believe, but I had no idea that you even went to DVC before you got over to Cal. So you were in Jorge's shoes years ago, were you not? You mentioned that, but not a terrific student, kind of just getting by, working at Safeway. And if you had had a program like this, it would have been nice. And here you are now providing.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Frank. And you actually brought up a really good point. My wife mentioned this to me yesterday. My wife didn't know I went to DVC until about 15 years after we were married. I just never brought it up. When people would ask me where you went to school, I'd say I went to Cal, and then went to MIT. Now I look back on that and think that was a huge missed opportunity not to promote DVC for the role it had in my career. But I also think with this pandemic, we're going to see a reshaping of higher education. And I think community colleges like DVC are going to become ascendant and become really important avenues for students to go find their paths. So now I lead with DVC. And it is actually, when we went back and met with the president of Diablo Valley College and her team, I got to go meet the chair of the math department. And differential equations changed my life. It was the first time when I was doing really hard math and I loved it. And I actually teared up when I was talking to this dean, because I was sitting in the same building where I had taken those classes. And it was super emotional because I was like, if I hadn't been at Diablo Valley College and taken that class, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you, because I would have gone in some other path. So yeah, it is really fun to look back.
And Ada, we'll pivot to you. Talk about, where people can be book smart, but I think Pete kicked it off talking about just life skills, learning to hit deadlines, learning to be responsible, being curious, being a leader, building relationships. How do you do that in the program?
Yeah, so we do most of that through our one-on-one relationships with the students and meetings with students, because that type of skill development is very personalized. So in addition to bringing in people who speak about how they've developed those skills through their career journey, we also work with the students closely because it's their first semester at college and it's virtual college, right? So every student has a different relationship of responsibilities with their families or with themselves. And so we talk through that with them in these one-on-one conversations. But we're also excited with what's to come. So we have a lot of additional programming. It's kind of crazy to think we've only had these students for 1 or 2, technically, with the summer DVC semesters. So we have a lot lined up for the spring, for next summer, with more internships, and the fall, gearing up to transfer, where we'll be able to really engage and build out, especially building relationships and a lot of those skills.
And Jorge, what lies ahead for you? What are your ambitions after DVC? Thanks in part to the program.
I really want to transfer to UC, probably Berkeley is what I'm reaching for, and just try to figure things out with what Diamante has given me so far, and see where I go from there.
How about the other kids? Have you been able to meet them, I guess, virtually, or do you know some of them that are in the program from the Mount Diablo School District?
Yeah, since elementary school, I've gone to the same school since elementary school with most of them. So I've known them since we were little kids, and it's great to see like.
Did we lose you a little bit? I think you froze up there a little bit, but.
Lose a little bit, but I believe I have faith he'll be back. Okay, Jorge, you're back.
Go ahead and finish that thought, Jorge.
Sorry.
It's okay. We lost you at you've known the students since elementary.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was saying that I'd gone to school with these kids since elementary school, and it's been great to see that we were back in the same class at the beginning of the program, and to see that we were all wanted to pursue higher education. And with the Diamante program, it just really helped us like build more of a bond.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that I realized going to Berkeley and having fraternity brothers like Pete, you aspire to be as good, if not better, than those you surround yourself by. And going to Cal was great because a lot of our friends have done terrifically, and you will too, by meeting some of these people that have had success and listening to their stories like Pete's, as well as surrounding yourself by those students that aspire to be successful as well. So Jorge, we wish you nothing but the best. Pete, I got to ask you, what's this do to your heart? You've had such great success as a VC in engineering and all the things that you have done. Is this your baby? This really is your passion. What's it done for your heart to help out these kids?
Well, yeah, it's made it overflow. I spent my whole career either helping to start companies up or helping to fund startups. And people would ask me all the time, like, are you going to start a company? I was like, no, I don't have this burning desire to solve a problem. And this is the first time in my life I started something. So it is totally awesome. This is like coming straight from the heart about how can I help these students find a path and share all the stuff that I and my network have learned, because I'm bringing lots of people in as guest speakers that I've worked with. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever started something, and it's just phenomenally rewarding. But and not for me, it's rewarding because of students like Jorge. I mean, that's why we're here, and it's just awesome to see it happen.
That's the payoff, seeing these kids do well. Ada, in closing, if people want to get in touch, if they want to donate or give their time, or if there's a student out there that saw this that would like to apply, how do they do?
I honestly would love if people reached out to me, to Ada Ocampo, Ocampo at dvc.edu, or just search for Diamante Scholars at DVC. They'll find all of the contact information and way to apply or get connected to us there.
Well, that's terrific. Here as I change our view here. We're out of time, but I want to thank you, Pete Zaballos, Ada Ocampo, and Jorge Salas. Program is called the Diamante Scholars Program at Diablo Valley College in Pleasant Hill. Bravo to you all, and we wish you all the best, guys. Thanks for sharing a little time here on Fox.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, very good. If you'd like more information as well, you can go to newsnowfox.com. I'm Frank Mallicoat. Have a great day, everybody.